Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Agder in Norway. I can see that I penciled this in, especially since this region has changed since this map came out. It used to be just Vest Agder and Ost Agder, and in 2020 they were combined into one, so I just penciled in the area that it is now. Now, you might be thinking what I first thought when I heard the name of this place. Agder does not sound very Norwegian, and that is because the name Agder comes from an old Norse word, but we have lost the meaning of that word. We don't know what it means. It's just what this place has been called for a long, long time, and the name has just stuck, and it's just what it's called. I think that's pretty neat. This area, as you can see, is along the coast of the Skagerrak, big inland sea here within the North Sea, or I guess North Sea because the Baltic Sea's over here. So I suppose it's part of the North Sea. And of course, being Norway, there are many, many fjords making up this coastline. If you don't know what a fjord is, it is kind of like a big slice of water going inland in various places. You can see like a big fjord right here, and there aren't like huge ones in Agder, but there are fjords nonetheless. This area is also very low-lying for the most part. Lots of like moors and kind of marshy areas and lots of lakes, but it does get more mountainous around here. Now I'm going to mispronounce this mountainous area. It is the Setesdalseni, Setesdal, so on and so forth. In terms of mountains, it's not like the Himalayas or anything, right? They're not massive mountains, but they are mountains nonetheless. And coming down through the mountains is the River Otra. It's very hard to see on this map because it's a busy map, but the River Otra, I believe, comes down through here and down into the bay of the capital of the area, which is Kristiansand. Again, I'm pronouncing that wrong. That's not at all how they pronounce it in Norwegian. It sounds a lot better, but that's the best I can do. So let's go over history, and then we'll pull out the tablet and go through Google Earth and show you this beautiful little region here. And what really makes it very beautiful is that due to the Gulf Stream, which sends warm water across the Atlantic, it's a very warm, summery place in the summertime. It's nicknamed the California of Norway. It's pretty awesome. So, let's go over the history of this very beautiful place. Once upon a time, this whole area was covered in glaciers, and as the glaciers receded, scraped across the land as they moved, creating all of these mountains and lakes and things, people started to move in. And that was definitely so in this area, it being the southernmost part of Norway. There's ancient burial sites and old like habitation sites, like whatever it was before villages throughout the area. And then, of course, as time goes on, we have more evidence of cities and communities and things, and there are quite possibly some old kingdoms in the area, but we don't have any official records of those. But what we do have official records of are the Viking kingdoms that would come to dominate this part of the world, especially in Norway. And there's lots of Viking tales that happened all throughout southern Norway, and that includes this area here. But that would pretty much end that era by let's see, it was in the 10th century when Harold Fairhair, which by the name you can tell is a pretty Viking kind of guy, decided to unite all the kingdoms into what we now consider Norway. And this is when Christianity really became the main religion in the area, and it still is to this day in this part of, well, throughout Norway, but in this part of Norway that we're talking about as well. Norway had kind of a rocky history, that it was part of Denmark, part of Sweden, so on and so forth for quite a while, and it took a while to just kind of become Norway again. So I couldn't really find a lot about this area during those times, but in the 16th century is when the port city started to really bloom in the area, and it was a major center for timber trading because Scandinavia has a lot of trees in it, and so they realized it was very easy to import timber in and out of this area, and Kristiansand was established in 1641. And I couldn't find very much more interesting history until April 9th, 1940, when Nazi Germany invaded Norway. They came up through the southern coast and marched up, so this area was occupied by Nazi Germany until their surrender in 1945. And pretty much the only other news was the merger of these two areas to create just one, Agder. So, not a very long-winded history, but it's another one of those places where either this is a 20-minute video or a 2-hour video, and yeah, I'm just giving you the cliff notes on the history of the area. Vikings, and then unification with Norway, and everything that came with that. How Norway changed hands between various other countries until they had their own thing. The Nazis were here for a minute, and now it's beautiful Norway. So let me actually have to probably zoom this out, and you're going to see this whole half of my desk because, yeah, the map is on the very edge. So let me slide it over a bit. And let me get my tablet out so I can show you some beautiful places in Agder in Norway. And boom. Okay, so here we are. Agder, you can see here, and you can really see all the fjords with it highlighted here. This very jaggedy coastline is all fjords. And then let me zoom out if you're still not quite sure where we are in the world. We are up here in Northern Europe. There we are. So, why don't we start out by checking out Kristiansand? This very beautiful, bright coastal city in Norway. There's the port and the beautiful areas. There you can enjoy the beautiful weather, scoot around. I'm sure you can go shopping and eating at all sorts of wonderful little places. Ooh, yeah. That place looks good. I can't even tell what it says. It looks like a bar and bistro. It looks very kind of seafoody, doesn't it? And yeah, it's just a very bright, happy place. The only videos I could find about Agder were about Kristiansand. So I've seen a lot of like walking tours and things of this place, and it really is a very beautiful, charming, lovely city. Very old church there. And let me zoom out a bit so you can kind of see the mountains that I'm talking about. You can see this area here is the more mountainous area. And I tried to explore here to find some good things, but when I zoom in, you can really see just how pockmarked this place is with little lakes and little valleys, and that's all from the glaciation. Let's see. I was tapping around random places trying to find some stereotypical Norwegian countryside of southern Norway, and I think I found it here. It looks like it's called Valley, right on the river. Yeah. Look how beautiful. Little sod houses here. And old rocks and things that you can explore, these lovely, lovely valleys here. So this is pretty typical of the countryside. A little center of town there. Beautiful cliffs. Looks like a little storage place there. Isn't this lovely? Everything so old and so quaint, but so timeless as well. Very, very cool. Oh, I love it. Very beautiful. And then I found, let me see, when I was looking around playing on Google Earth, which I encourage you to do. It's always fun to check out little places on Google Earth. Let's see if I can find it. If not, it's no big deal, but it was somewhere around here. I promise it wasn't a theme park. I don't think I'm gonna find it. I was trying to look at stuff to find in the islands, and I found this. I found it. The Christian Sand Cannon Museum. So when the Nazis came, they built all of these cannons and fortifications, and they're obviously still there, and you can tour inside them. Big old cannon. Big old like steel fortification there. Place they rotate the cannons. Boom, boom. And yeah, typical little work area for the Nazi Germans, and they invaded and occupied the area. Looks like some things that were maybe left behind. Old shell casings from looks like old bombs, right? Yeah, it's a really troubling history in Norway for those 5 years. It left its mark kind of permanently, right? What else did I find? Oh, you know what else I found? Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. I found where Elsa and Anna live, because they live in Arendal, so I found Arendal. A little coastal city. And it's also very beautiful, as you can imagine. Of course, the big old kind of Norwegian medieval style church in the center of town. Lots of little boats there. Beautiful walking area. Nice and clean and bright and beautiful. Just kind of what I associate Norway with. Beautiful church. It looks like it's brick. Big old windows too. It's really pretty. Center of town area. Oh, this is a really nice filter they've put on to make it even brighter and more beautiful. Play area. Yeah, it's just a lovely little part of Norway. So that is all that I have for you for this region. If you enjoyed this style of video, please consider subscribing, because this is an ongoing series on my channel. We're going to every little corner of every country in the world. Next, we're going to be heading back to Azerbaijan. And I hope that you found this video relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a very good